All right, we are recording. So, good news, despite the fact that I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, I will not be throwing suddenly illithants everywhere. We're going to just keep on doing what we've been doing. Which brings us to the retelling. And since you missed a session, Vivian, if you could go ahead and do the retelling from the last session you were at, and then everyone else will get you caught up.
Well, the last session I was at with Raxi were witnesses. Raxi did not do much in that session, but Wampy basically completely unraveled the conspiracy live on the witness stand, gasping in the audience. Justicar throwing out papers for defense or for prosecution and stuff, and revealed their new lineage, which we actually have not fully formalized the mechanics of, but they have the gift of Mossy with the idea that they can understate their qualifications, and it basically gives off an ethos of I'm actually an expert in this and I'm just trying not to make you look dumb. Wampy also was one of the two who helped convince the Justicar to drop the charges against Lorpin, as the evidence from the trial was overwhelming, and while the Justicar did want to continue to pursue, it became clear through their convincing that it was not likely to go. The rest of the trial is not likely to go any better than the first part of the trial did. Unintentionally preventing Captain Lowendahl from having to reveal that it was actually a privateer job.
To give you a little behind the scenes on that, the Justicar had 8 composure left from all the damage you guys had done during the trial, and you came and just you made your roll. It was 3, and I was just like, you know what? She's just going to put that to her composure and move on, and that dropped her composure to 5, and that's when Reggie came and dropped a 6 condition on her. I was like, well, all right, that can't go to composure now. So, yeah, you did it. You guys did it. Now, as a consequence of that, the Justicar believes that Reggie is part of your investigation company.
All right.
You can decide whether or not that's true amongst yourselves.
I don't have the other triplets here to go off, but Wampy would have no objections to having a lawyer as part of the group.
Which brings us to... Oh, and you have your renown. I guess I told you last session that you would earn that renown.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to spend it. I forgot about it.
Yeah, so because you had 2 characters, you can either pick a character to give it to, or you can split it up into character points and divide them amongst the characters. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
All right, which brings us to last week. Who wants to talk about what happened in the last session? I'm going to call on somebody if nobody jumps in.
I'm not sure I fully remember what happened in the last session.
I'm trying to recollect. There's a piece I'm missing, and I'm not sure. But I know that Mina visited the harbor master. That's what he was, right? The harbor master?
That's right.
We got the... we found out that the old harbor master was there at the time of the sandwich going down. We went back and looked through records. And we found out someone named... Like, the whole list of people changed that day. And the person that was in charge of the roster belonged to the syndicate, and I can't remember what the syndicate was named.
The Blade Breakers. Pretty sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Blade Breaker The Blade Breaker Crime Syndicate.
Okay, that was the piece I was missing. So we figured that out. I think that was it for Mina.
Yep. That was Mina and Reggie that did that. So yeah, go ahead and take your character point. Reggie, you basically were part of that same thing. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I remember now. Yeah, I mean, so we had to go to the psychic basically to stir my memory, but otherwise, like, yeah. And then we're still deciding on. I think we were still deciding on what to do with this newfound.
Cool. And Tice, you went in a completely different direction. What did you do? You went out with the two players who are missing today. What did you guys discover?
We went to the what's that? I can't forget what the name of the company is, but there was a company that was that involved the hostage situation. Wherever we went into the top of their building, where all the records and files were, and we found out that that the piecing together that the cutthroat thing was I think trying to extort them for the now that all the evidence has come out and stuff. And also, we found out more information about the payments and stuff, I think, as well, from that 15 years ago, as well as new information about if you don't get this buried or whatever, more members of your family are gonna get buried.
So what you guys found out was that the Nantar family. So you had previously met Lady Alpine Nantar. She's like a cousin to the main Nantar family, and here you started investigating the main Nantar family at their place of business, where you broke into the office of Lord Balrastor Nantar, and you rifled through some documents. You found a letter in which he was being not really even blackmailed, like just straight up threatened. And then you hid and listened in while he talked to his secretary and learned a little bit about how they're looking for a document that's missing. And it was missing before you guys came in and started stealing documents. So somebody else has taken a document, or something. There's some document that's missing that they're looking for. And that's what you find out, and then you guys skedaddled. So the Nantars are being threatened by somebody. And then, didn't you guys also go and talk to somebody after you regrouped? You did. I was being facetious. You did go and talk to somebody after you guys regrouped. Does anybody remember who you talked to?
The war guy from the tribunal who did learn more about the weapons.
That's right. You went and talked to the magistrate, who was a veteran of war campaigns, and he knew all the weapons. And he gave you a rundown of where those weapons showed up, which included places that happened after that incident with the sandwich sinking 15 years ago, meaning might be a way to trace like who has them now. And there was a pattern. They were all in this sort of swampy biome that is in the southern Middle Kingdom. Well, I say southern. It's like southwestern area of the Middle Kingdoms. And on the other side of the Troll Mountains, an area not too far from Celebre, where the Petrish have been operating. It's the Petrish settlement in the swamps up there.
Yeah, or some weird kind of phenomenon was happening, I think, but we couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, and the phenomena is mostly that there's just reports of these magical items, which they're not subtle items, right? It's like a sword. He mentioned specifically a sword that when you swing it, like shoots lightning into the person that you hit with it, and an axe that just is magically enchanted to cause particularly grievous wounds. Those were two of the examples, but they're flashy magic items. So there have been reports. He has heard about them. He's kept track. and he gave you guys a little map that shows sort of the region that those magic items have been showing up in. So with that information, you guys have sort of paused the Nantar investigation. It's not really paused. The Nantar investigation is now bundled into the same investigation as the Blade Breakers from your earlier investigations of the local crime syndicates. There is some kind of relationship between Nantar Trade and Agriculture and the Blade Breakers. And it has something to do with the weapons that were stolen, and it has something to do with the weapons now being used north of Sleebre.
Yeah, because like that's where I think that's where we're sort of connecting where all the wealth is coming from, is selling of the weapons.
Yep.
That's...
So Ed and Tice, make sure your characters each get their character point, plus any of your characters that were in school can get their experience point. Any characters that were working a job can earn a coin. And if any of them need to make particular roles to either get into classes or advance through anything that they're advancing through, go ahead and make those rolls.
Question. Can I add my potential onto these Arcade University exams because of my trait dedicated study?
Yes.
Excellent. I would like to do that.
That is what traits are for.
Oh, no. Sorry. I lost track of stuff. Alright. Do I get pips for my spell books or anything like on this?
Which exam are you taking?
I was going to take the one for Spell Hacker because I've already put a character point into it.
Okay, in that case, no. The only one where I would say that really would be it is the like ones that actually relate to spell casting.
Advanced Thaumaturgic Efficiency Theory. 301.
Yeah, that one is like, it's pure math. It's not, the books are not really going to help you.
Question: do I get pips for the fact that I've already spent a character point on spell hacking and attempted it before?
Technically, under the rules, no, but I'm just gonna GM decide that sure.
Like 2 pips or something
Yeah,
like that?
sure. That makes sense to me.
I will. Nest will go for that because I already have spells. Is the bot not working?
Oh my goodness.
Is Uther down?
That hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah, Uther is not online.
Okay, let me see.
Uther's been particularly reliable for the past, year.
So that just makes them all max successes, right?
It just means the hurricane was a lot rougher than we thought. Or Uther's the one that stopped it.
Troy, it does look like Chrysalisar spent the last session in the Crimson Academy, is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do...
Once Uther's back online, too, you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll just be doing, probably the basic sword drills. And then also if I can work out, I need to get this character a sword finally. So maybe an on their way home thing.
Sure.
Well,
or they go to Oakbrine or whatever.
The merchants here are not fools. They know to set up their shop in the places that are most likely to have somebody that needs their shit walking through it. So on your way out of the Crimson Guard barracks, there are sword merchants just there. They know who their customers are. They're not trying to be difficult to find.
question. For Araxi's mercenary company, do they, issue weapons to the recruits?
No.
Okay. Do they offer them?
They're deeply capitalistic. They'll sell you. Yeah.
All right. Because it's just not listed here, so I wasn't sure how.
They're not really any different than any other kind of
Anything
merchants.
else? Okay.
But if you've been browsing through the talents that they can train you in, there's this wicked combo in there.
Yeah, basically going full down the crossbow martial line.
Yeah. You can turn a crossbow into a melee weapon and then apply a ridiculous set of combined bonuses to crossbow attacks. It's by merging crossbow and close weapon fighting styles, you get this really cool combo move.
Yeah.
Hey, Witcher's back.
Fortunately, I think I'm still short experience for Araxi.
Cat knocked the power.
Ah.
All right.
Can't even blame it on the hurricane then.
Oh, I passed.
Congratulations! Oh, that's awesome. So you're in.
Spell hacking.
You only need to spend one character point to get it now, right?
Yeah.
So you can just you spend it. That's awesome.
Unfortunately, I now need to go get that character point, but which probably means Nest comes out today.
Sounds good. So let's while we're waiting for Troy to make his rolls too, let's go ahead and just talk about what adventure opportunities the kids have sitting in front of them. Investigate the Criminal Syndicates Part 2 would allow you to take what you've learned in the previous session and dive deep. Start looking into the Blade Breakers and what they really are doing and what's going on with them. This will be sort of a mix of investigating them and investigating the Nantars, but mostly it's going to get into investigating the Blade Breakers, because they're really the fundamental linchpin of that whole thing. Or, alternatively, because it's not an urgent thing, that investigation is not time-sensitive. The Justicar has requested you report your findings when you've completed your investigation. And the players chose not to tip their hand. They were super careful not to let anyone know they were investigating last session. So everything's sort of calm right now. Which means the other options are on the table as well. You can explore the Undercity, slightly dangerous, probably want to bring some combat characters. You can explore the Northern Forest. You can investigate what Miss Maybell has been doing in her evenings. You can investigate Henri's dream, except Henri's not here, so that probably doesn't make any sense. You can work on upgrading the orphanage. You can go hang out with the Pebble Street gang. Or you can investigate the Shadow Man, but that will begin the end of the story.
We've been doing a lot heavier things. I sort of just want to nominate the Miss Mabel thing. Do something light and hearty this session.
Cool. That would be that's very much a social / stealthy kind of thing. If you want to tail Miss Mabel the previous night and then try to investigate what you found out during the day.
Part of me, however, wants to go into the Undercity, and that's just because Nest has Fireball, and Nest really wants to use Fireball if Nest has the opportunity.
Awesome.
Also, just to wind back previously, I would like Raxi to actually buy 2 hand crossbows. If that's okay. Like one on each wrist, essentially.
Okay.
I assume you just want to make my resources roll, and then I'll decide.
And then, just decide how much you want to pour into that to get a better quality one.
Am I buying them as a set? I feel like because they're hand crossbows, it makes sense as a set.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you use them as a set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could use just one-hand crossbow, but at that point you should just have a regular crossbow.
Unless it's like, yeah, you sword in one hand, hand crossbow in the other kind of thing, like little piratey.
Yeah,
I'm dueling one person while firing on another.
I'm just buying a dueling set. In this case, I'm buying crossbows. Then I'll roll like.
Oh, that's right. We do a resource check first. What's the highest quality weapons we can get around? And like swords and stuff, is it 4?
Oh no, you can get like quality 6 stuff here pretty easily. And if you're really willing to put some extra effort into it, the costs are double, but you could get up to quality 8 stuff if you are willing to spend the coin. It does double the cost though.
Above 6?
Above 6, yeah.
Okay.
So when you climb up, if you want to go above 6, you need 2 successes for each step. With the current economy.
Alright, so that's 3 valuable coins I've spent there.
So yeah, it would be a total of 10 successes to get a valuable 8 then.
The issue is that the craftsmen of Celebre are pretty good, but in a wartime economy, the only like crazy powerful stuff you're going to find is stuff you're going to be trading for, not stuff made locally.
Okay.
So yeah, you gotta deal with that import tax.
I'm at 7. I'm just going to spend the precious gems to get actually a quality 8.
Okay.
If that's okay.
8 successes, that would be 7.
I said 7, but I'm spending the precious gems to get to a quality 8.
You're spending 2 precious gems, right?
Okay, I think you said you had 8 successes.
What I was trying to say was that I have 7 successes. I'm spending the gems to get to 8. To get to 8 in terms of the quality I'm going for. So I'm spending 3. I'm spending 3 gems.
Okay.
You're spending 3 gems to go from yeah.
Oh, okay, so 10 successes. Yeah. That's why I was super confused there for a second. Not trying to say you were doing anything wrong or anything. I'm curious. Khalil just got the talent symbol. Would I have to like buy make something before, or because I need it's a thing that's like it's a battery that I can use for my powers.
Oh yeah, that you can just make out of like normal stuff. You don't even need to like do anything serious. If you want it to look fancy or something, or serve some additional purpose, you can go ahead and make it like a crafting check. But yeah, like if you the point of that talent is you don't need to roll. You can just have your holy symbol.
But what is the quality of the holy symbol? Because that determines how much like battery I have.
Ah, good point. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and do you want to craft it or do you want to just find something?
Probably potentially with the help of the refugees, because they're the ones that I've been learning from this whole time.
Did you say craft or find?
Find, I think, yeah.
Okay, make a resource check. And if you're going to use the refugees, you can add the results of the other one.
Of a resource and connections.
Connections, that's one. Yes, thank you.
Sadly, Khalil is pretty poor. So I'll just add roll my 2 dice because I have 1 of connections and 1 of resource. It feels weird if I were to give myself money from my other characters. Because I know that Glup has been sharing money with people.
I have 5 successes gem just to push it up to 6.
Right on.
To get a quality 6 sword.
Yeah, so I currently have 1 success.
All right. So that'll be quality 2 item then. I was still going to give you quality 1 if you had 0 successes. It's go ahead and have a quality 2 holy item with battery. Everybody's getting geared up.
We should have done a long time.
Does Araxi's crossbow come with any properties or anything at that quality?
If you are buying from the market, no.
For a market, no. Okay.
The reason that that Jackie with Bax's sword has extra properties is because she went into Little Oak Brine and put some effort into having the smith there forge a custom sword for her.
I was asking because Wampi's calligraphy set has properties on it, but I think that's a different thing.
That is a different thing, yeah.
Yeah. Is it okay if like Glup gives 5 coins, or is that weird because it's also my character? Because like my thing is I've been giving coins and stuff and diamonds and stuff to my fellow guys before, like everyone else.
Would this be Glup that's giving them?
Yeah.
So your mentor, Old Man Pinkle, says, it's all fine and good to give things, to invest in things, but make sure it's an investment. Make sure they know that they owe you. And don't ever let them forget it.
Yeah, just like I think I've given like for the lockpick sets, and I think there's a couple other things that I've given money before.
Says the best kind of debt is the kind of debt that they spend the rest of their lives repaying without ever being out of debt.
Yeah.
So if you can spend a little money to have them owe you something and never get that money back, but just constantly remind them of that whenever you need a favor, you can get favors forever.
Yeah. I guess I'll favor.
Also, save some money to help out that investigation company.
Yeah. Glup still has 15 coins and 4 precious jewels after this.
Help them invest in their first office, and you'll be able to easily apply pressure for them to overlook your smaller crimes.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so that's 2 more successes. So that's a quality 6 then, right? You said it's 1 for every 1 success is 2?
Yep.
I assume Wampy gets back the crystal ball of recording from the trial, correct?
No, they still
No.
have that in evidence.
Okay.
Because they are now investigating Nantar.
All right. Wampy will get it back.
Instead,
when
you
it's
guys
out
have
of-
a second crystal ball that you guys
Okay.
get. And also there is a potion of honesty.
Right. So should I remove it completely from my inventory, or should I just mark it down as not in my possession?
You mark it down as not in your possession. You'll get it back if the Nantar investigation completes before the end of the story.
All right, so we still haven't actually figured out exactly what we want to do for a quest tonight.
So true.
All right. One more thing of business before we do that. The gold that Araxi has. About that. Araxi wanted to ship it back, but I don't know if Araxi is able to now.
So, technically, that gold belongs to your new mercenary company, but
Yeah.
you had a very, very good contract written. So, the mercenary company is required to either pay you out a single lump sum right away, or make you, like, installed payments. They would like to do the lump sum. They're not great financiers, and they know the lump sum, it looks on paper to them like it would be less to pay you out right away than to give you continuous payments over time. You may, however, choose to encourage them in a different way if you want.
Can I do like a personal like math roll essentially to figure that out?
Yeah.
Focus plus. I mean, this is just a scholarship roll, right? Or propriety, either one. I don't have. I guess it also could be a trade roll, but I'll have any of the. I know as much as the mercenary company.
You can either get
Yeah.
30 precious coins, or 30 valuable coins and 10 precious gems right now, or you can have, as a financial institution, continuously supporting Araxi until she's an adult, a mercenary company that
I think I'm going to
issues
take.
you an allowance and takes care of expenses and
It's
stuff.
basically a salary.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
They owe you a salary, but you don't owe them any work.
Right. I think I'll take that if.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, so you encourage them into that, and they fall for it and go ahead and do that. So, as a general rule, whenever Araxi is buying something in Celebre, you can tap into that as a source, and they'll cover 2 successes worth of anything you want forever.
All right. So long as I'm in Celebre.
So long as you're in Celebre, yes. And so long as it's like a rational purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're in Sleeper as well.
Yeah, that's true. If, as a mercenary company, something horrific befalls them, that would be very unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. But Raxi is technically a member as well, so.
Yep. So something horrific would have befallen you, and that's also not good.
That's not good, but unimpactful for their financial future, I guess.
In terms of recording, just put down in your inventory that your membership includes expenses paid to the tune of 2 successes. That'll include basic items that you need to purchase, stays at inns, and if you go and talk to them about it, potentially more advanced stuff such as bribing officials and things.
Can I retroactively apply that to the precious gems that I spent?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, you can get 2 of them back.
All right, so we got 1 vote for Miss Maybell, and I think 1 vote for the Undercity. What do the other 2 think about it?
I mean, Reggie's interested in continuing to accumulate his hoard of wealth.
There's probably treasure under the city if we find it.
Get ready for combat, Reggie.
Yeah, there's none of that. None of that happens.
I mean, I expect that if Reggie decides to explore the Undercity, Reggie will do so from an office getting reports from a mercenary crew that he sends into the Undercity.
That's pretty much right, yeah.
Are those his pets? That's how he... Reggie's taming his contracts.
Reggie has 26 valuable coins and 10 precious gems on hand right now from his various savings. He's a frugal saving person, so
Reggie's going to effectively be an Eldritch Binder, but without the Eldritch part. Reggie's going to be like a physical binder with a pantheon of mercenaries and ne'er-do-wells at his disposal.
I should say after the trial thing, he took his last lineage. I just had him take Catalyst, and I had him take Survivor as his Catalyst.
Ooh.
And he's going to take Orphic Potential for that.
Okay. All right. Legendary speaker. I like it. For some reason in my head I was thinking it would be a civic potential, but Orphic is perfect. That's absolutely perfect for Reggie.
He talked his way out of being murdered, I guess. So, yeah.
Troy, what adventure were you thinking about?
I don't know necessarily that I have anybody equipped for like what we said Miss Mabel's stuff would be. So I have a more combat ready character. So I would lean that direction, but I can make it work if we want to do more of a.
So if you decide to investigate Miss Mabel, you'll need to pick a character to not get a good night's sleep the previous night, who will tail Miss Mabel and report to everybody where she went, who she interacted with, so you can spend the day finding those people and figuring out what happened. What's been happening, because it seems like it's something she's doing every night.
I think the other thing for me is I think Nest is like too respectful of Miss Mabel to pry like that. So I would really prefer to play Nest tonight.
Sure, if you guys want to go to the Underdark, I'll swap my vote to Underdark then.
Undercity, not the Underdark.
Undercity, yes.
Underdark is a different.
We're definitely not going to the Underdark.
Don't sue me, Wizards of the Coast.
So just go ahead and delete those character sheets.
All right, is everybody feeling like exploring the Undercity is what they'd like to do?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could have that.
Awesome. Which characters will be coming out? I heard a Nest.
Nest is definitely coming out.
Awesome.
I'll bring Chris Lazar out.
Chris Lazar, okay. Cool. Tice, which of your characters would you like to bring into the Undercity?
Since we've got a new thing, I'm gonna bring out Kyle Leal.
Okay. Has Kyleel learned any of the spells that the priests of the refugees were able to teach? I made a list of them.
Yeah, I just don't have the experience for them yet.
Okay. Let's see, Jack and Kristen are not here, and then Ed, which character would you like to bring out to explore the Undercity?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not likely to be a very social scene, but there will be certainly archaeological things to discover. Your last trip down there, you guys found a church where the walls were made of a metal that didn't corrode. And it was a church in an elven city, which meant it was old. Like, pre-cataclysm old.
Mm-hmm. I guess Mario will go down.
All right.
And who had the grenades? I know we still have some grenades from the last adventure from there.
Mari's been spending a lot of time in school. She probably got some pretty decent casting ability by now. Been practicing with her flute?
Ah, yes. Mm-hmm. How are we doing the attacks on that again?
Oh my. Where did I put that? Hold on, I'll find it. I think it was in private tutors and clubs. Yes. Alright, so the character can leverage one or more of their esoteric or datal potentials to create items that reliably recreate any spell that they know. These items are kept on the character's person and are automatically maintained in their day-to-day activities, removing all tax after a good night's sleep and an hour of daily preparation. The character can maintain a number of such items equal to half of the potential that they are based on rounded up. These items must be crafted by the character themselves with a resulting quality from either a normal or datal crafting roll, and may contain a number of powers with ranks totaling 2 times the quality rank of them, but not exceeding 2 times the potential amongst all items in total. The player may choose to have the character cease maintaining such items, rendering them temporarily inoperative so as to make room for a different set at the start of each day during maintenance. Activating a power or ability from these items taxes the item and the player's potential, each by the rank of the power used, with no tests required.
Okay. I've got my flute. It's got light and mend.
Awesome. And you do not need to roll to use light and mend. They work because you built your flute to do exactly that. Okay. The Undercity! So, the Undercity can be accessed a few different ways. The way that you guys found was a steeple of a church sticking up into a sewer. So you have to go down into the sewers and go to this particular place where the sewers had to be built around the steeple of a sunken church. However, through the course of your various explorations, you have learned that there are other ways into this sort of Undercity area. You did find a map with other potential entry points, the church being just the one that you used at that time, because it was the one that corresponded to what you were looking for. But there are a couple other sewer places where similar structures and things jut out. There's also a giant hole in the middle of the city. If you could go down this hole, then down in the hole there will be any number of caves and caverns and bits of old sewer plumbing and streets and such that would jut out and allow you to get in. But you need some way to rappel down into the hole. The hole is not designed to have people go down it. The hole was not an intentional part of the city. It formed accidentally when the original Wizard's Tower of the city was teleported to another location. So you have an idea about the size of the hole. It's like a couple football fields across. It's pretty big.
Do you have any idea what the other things that are protruding in the sewers are?
You do not. You need to go explore them. They did not correspond to the triangulation of the... At the time, you guys had a magic spell that was kind of triangulating a direction you wanted to go in, and they were not part of that. They were kind of the okay, we can cross these out as not where we're trying to go, but they are still on your map, and you could still potentially go there and explore them. There are 3 other non-explored entrances in the sewers. 4th option being the hole, and a 5th option that you only recently discovered while underwater investigating the Sunken Sandwich is that there's a whole other city underwater, because this city used to be built both below, on, and above a cliff before the ocean levels rose. And so if you just go down into the harbor and swim deep enough, you'll find other entrances into the Undercity from the original city's ruins, which are down there. So it's either, there's 3 sewer options, 1 rock climbing option, and 1 scuba diving option.
I nominate one of the 3 sewer options.
Yeah, I think given who we're braying, that makes the most sense. Nobody could breathe underwater, and although it was pretty cheap to get underwater breathing stuff if we wanted to go that way. But also we live in a port city that's probably been well explored. I feel like the rock climbing one has the best chance at us finding something.
I mean, you do know for a fact that used to be a magic university.
Yeah.
And so it does have a very good chance of having been connected to other things.
What if we got spider climb? Those like little things of spider climb before we go.
The Applied Thaumaturgy Guild sells little spider climb patches that you can attach to your boots that will give you a temporary ability to just walk straight up walls. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think we have a couple of people that are still part of the Applied Thaumaturgy, though they haven't been there for a little while.
Carfax there like every day.
Yeah, Kyle's technically part of the guild. He just hasn't been there for a bit ever since he met the priests.
I mean, Whoppy still got the discount, and Whoppy has been there once.
Marty's gonna pick up her last lineage as well.
Cool. What's she getting?
She's been hanging out in the library for a very long time, just absorbing everything. I think she just read a bunch of legal books for random reasons. What else did she read about the court system or whatever? She's been absorbing knowledge, so she's going to pick up talented and take useless tribute.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so anyone attempting to get spider climb gear, let me know how you're doing it, and I'll explain what your costs will be.
I'm sure the university has some spare for the classes.
The university does not teach the Applied
not.
Thaumaturgy version of it. They teach the spell.
But they don't teach even in like the artificing classes.
No, they don't teach the alchemical property that the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild has patented and would sue them over. Correct. They do teach a spell, and they teach the spell because, in their view, the Applied Thaumaturgy's alchemical version is based on the spell, not the other way around. So, yeah, you can learn to spell Spider Climb. You'll have to do a little bit of library research to put it together, but I'll allow that if you're a spellcaster. Additionally, anyone who actually works for the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild can just roll a resources check to see if, like, a bad batch that's easily fixed can just be picked up out of the trash and repaired with a little bit of alchemical jiggery.
Sure. My other option was going to see if I could borrow some stuff from our local alchemist, Trevor, and like try and make my own patches.
If you're referring to Willica,
Yes.
while she finds the notion interesting, she's primarily working on healing potions rather than utility potions at the moment. But that doesn't mean she won't help you to craft them yourself. So if you'd like to use her equipment, she can help you craft some. If, on the other hand, you're talking about Pavin, if you're one of the mage students that met Pavin, Pavin will do all kinds of crazy stuff. You might not like the form it takes, but it'll work.
Oh, Nest is absolutely going to Pavan.
Yeah, I was Kylie was going to go to Wilka.
Nest is just going to tell y'all, wait here, I'll be back. I'm going to go talk to my goblin friend.
So Pavan immediately has an idea of like what they want to put together. Do you trust Pavan, or do you want to try and influence the concoction?
It's Nest. Nest trusts Pavan completely.
All right, Pavan gives you a potion. Says, "Drink this, and you will be able to walk and climb up walls, no problem." It's worth noting that the applied thaumaturgy version is something you stick on your boots. What Pavan has given you is something you drink. And Pavan does tell you, it's like, oh, and don't wear tall boots when you drink this. Wear, like, sandals or something.
All right, all right. What does Nest wear? I've never decided this.
You can always, take it off. Take off your shoes.
Nest shows up with potions and barefoot. You see, like, Nest has boots, like, over her shoulder. It's like, Papa told me not to wear shoes.
Does everyone trust the potions that Nest has brought back?
Well, I was still going to go to Wilka and like brew my own stuff.
Okay.
Let's see if I could potentially mix it with some faith magic.
Mix what with faith magic?
Like do the chemical stuff, but then bless them to with the powers.
You can try, but they're fundamentally different magics.
Okay.
You never know, though. Khalil
I
might find this to be hilarious.
I believe I won't fall off this wall.
Blessing a potion of climbing with by the trickster god is probably not the wisest of choices, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's more I'm making a chemical stuff. Should I do an alchemical roll first and then do a blessing on it, or should I make it as one roll?
Oh, you're trying to make your own potion. Okay.
Not potion, chemical treatments and stuff. To be able to
you want to make the boot, the sticky pad for the boot?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're at the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild. All right. If you want to craft it, then yeah, make a crafting check. I'm sorry, not a craft. Yeah. What's alchemy? Alchemy's crafting. Yeah.
Crafting.
Crafting unless you're pharmacist.
Crafting plus focus.
And I have a bag as well. So let's see.
And if you trust that Kyle isn't going to mess with it, I'll let you add your potential.
I'll spend a thing off of my symbol to add pips.
Okay.
In pharmacy, pharmacist, I'll spend the thing to get automatic 4 successes, and then I'm just rolling my cunning plus my focus. Cunning plus my the focus plus my magical powers. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's 7 successes total.
Okay. You have a sticky pad made in the style of the stuff that the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild makes, and you're pretty sure it's going to work.
Yep. I'll bring it with me.
All right. So fairly early in the morning. So not even starting to get to noon yet. You guys arrive at the hole. Sun is shining down it at an angle. So what's deep below is obscured in darkness. Only at the very noon of the day do you get like mostly light there. But part of the hole is lit up, and walking around the outside edge, which does take a while. Like it's a huge hole. You can see that there are some like little caves and things like partway down in some different places. Do you want to aim for a cave you can see on the lit side, or do you just want to climb blindly down into the darkness?
Probably a lit side is probably the best idea for now.
Yeah.
All right. Studying through one of the tourist spy glasses, you find a hole and then walk all the way around. Which takes about half an hour. When you get to the other side where the hole is that you spotted, you get yourself set up. Everybody, let me know what you're doing to not fall.
Down in this potion.
Oh wait, who has the rope, by the way? The pulley system. Did any of our characters are part of that pulley system that we used?
I believe that's Troppy. So nobody here.
Well, no, because I don't know who he said took it.
I would assume it's just at the orphanage where we all stay.
Yeah, because Trumpy and Mina worked on it, but we could. It's not. I don't think outlandish to say they wouldn't loan it out.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't know. We have basically spider climb.
Yeah, I don't know if we need.
I don't know if we need the rope.
Yeah, that would have been an alternate way to do this, probably.
Seems like you've bypassed the necessity for that. Though it's not a terrible idea to just have some rope.
Yeah.
Mari points out that we don't know how long the potions will last, and we should probably have a way of getting back up.
Yeah.
And
How
then
many potions
she looks.
did Pop and Leave give me? Yeah. I guess it depends how many potions Poffin gave. 4? Alright.
You told Pavan how many of your friends were coming,
Yeah.
so Pavan gave one each.
Alright.
She sniffs the potion and looks down at your sandaled feet, and then takes her boots
Oh,
off.
bare feet.
Or your bare feet, and then takes her boots off and straps them to her back, and says, "We also we don't know exactly how long the potions last. I'm kind of hoping maybe they don't last very long. We'll see what happens."
Yeah, let's as we climb down, we'll take a rope to basically give us a way up.
Are you tying a rope to something at the top?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we have a basic assumption that we have some rope, or we could have procured rope? I can.
Yeah.
It's a fancy.
I got my Crimson Academy, whatever.
You've
Provisions
got some,
rope.
You've got some rope. Rope is easy. I mean, half of you have worked with like fishing guilds. You have rope. It's not a problem.
There's probably just rope sitting around the orphanage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rope is one of those ambient things that is just available here.
Yeah, so I would say, we tie something off at the top.
Do we know how far down this thing goes?
Yes, you do. So, looking at it through the spyglass before you came around, you have a good idea that it's really only about like 50 feet down to this little cavern kind of cave-looking thing. It's not a huge ordeal, at least compared to like the rest of this hole.
That being said, is it smarter just to send down on rope and then save these for climbing back up? I'm not gonna mess with it. We set up the rope, and because I want to take potions and know what happens.
Mark shrugs and says, "We know how rope works. We're not sure how these potions work, so it might actually be a faster way out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So set up rope and then tie it off really well, and then take potions to get down.
All right. With the rope set up and dangled over the side, and a couple onlookers thinking, "What are these kids doing? That's dangerous." You guys are ready to down your potions, and I guess
and Kyle's gonna.
Kyle has you have your boot thing that you made, right?
Yeah, so we have one extra potion as well.
Oh, you made 2 of them?
No. I mean, no. No. There's 4 potions and one.
Yeah, there's a spare potion because you made your own thing. Yeah, that's right. All right, so those of you who are drinking the potions, some little extra crab legs sprout out from your ankles with some very sharp pincers that just grip into the rock, actually like biting into it, leaving marks. As you go to lift up your feet, they automatically let go, and when you plant your foot down again, they grip on again. You have very smooth control over them. The one thing they do not do is they do not strengthen your leg muscles to necessarily hold the weight of your body horizontally. So yeah, there's a bit of getting used to as you kind of go over the edge, and you end up kind of hanging down with your feet clutching the rock as you slowly make progress upside down. You're probably very glad you have the rope to orient yourself. This would otherwise be a very confusing situation to find yourself in. Also, it is slightly horrifying having crab legs come out of your ankles. But it is a goblin potion. Kyleel, your potion appears to be working. So you have the sticky boots, and they've stabilized you, so you're actually able to, as you go over the edge, just stay horizontal as you walk down the cliff.
Yeah, I don't believe in life known as gravity.
All right. So nobody really needs to make any rolls or checks here, except for with a little bit of horror, you guys might suffer some psychological damage. So I just want everybody to kind of make an empathy test to make sure you have yourself under control. This would be empathy plus scholarship, because if you understand what's happening to you, it's less horrifying.
Is that including me, or...?
No, that does not include Kyleel, who is totally fine. This is just the people that have some new legs.
He is witnessing it. And not feeling it, so it's like even more horrifying.
Alright.
Okay, all of you sort of power through. Nobody has to take any attacks. You brought this on yourselves, and you know who Pavin is. You had a pretty good idea something like this was coming. All right, you get inside the cavern, and Kyleel, you end up on the ceiling as you enter the cavern. Everyone else, you kind of climb through and drop down onto the floor. The crab legs are still there. They're still helping you stick to the floor, but you're stable now. Gravity's normal. Everything's pretty much fine. Kyleel, you can't seem to get down from the ceiling. You can still walk around normally, but something about the enchantment has you just has gravity reversed for you.
Huh, that's fine,
Gotta hope he doesn't get thrown into a cavern.
And so, one of the first things you find as you kind of enter this cavern is that it is very, very dark. Yes, there's sunlight outside. Yes, there's daylight outside. But that is the only light. And while you can see that this cavern does continue into the city from like 5 stories down, you don't really have any way to see.
So, good news, Nest has light.
Mari also has light, but she can also see. So it's yeah.
Do you want to cast light and save me the tax, maybe?
Sure. She pulls out her flute and she plays a little tune, but it makes no noise. And then there's a tiny little ball appears on the end of the flute. Then she holds the flute up like a torch.
Awesome. Tax your thingy and also your flute.
Yep.
By 1, and you have a light source that everyone can now see. And what you see is the following: long corridor heading down. To your right, there is a stairway leading up. It was completely shrouded in darkness and clearly has no light coming from above, so it doesn't go all the way to the surface. But there is a stairway to your right leading up. Also, a little further down the corridor, there's some kind of a fancy door to the left. Not a closed door, like a doorway, like an archway that looks really fancy, leading to some opening to the left. And the hallway continues down into darkness. Where would you like to go?
So how tall is the ceiling again?
Ceiling in this area is about 15 feet tall.
Okay, so I still have to see in the light and stuff. But
Oh yeah,
if I'm-
you're not like distant from them. Yeah. You'd have to scramble up the wall or down the wall, depending on your perspective, to get to your friends, to like trade items and stuff. Or you can just throw things.
Yeah, I could just walk along the wall, look like.
Or maybe. You can't reach us. Jump and give you a high five.
Yeah.
Is there any So I just tell her I issue a shush gesture, and I just listen. Is there any? Are we alone? Does like any sounds or anything interesting?
I would love for you to make a perception check. If you have a relevant skill, you may add it. You are listening, and you may absolutely apply all of your special pips for dwarf hearing.
Any investigation?
Yes, investigation would be perfect.
Okay. Perception, right?
Yes, please. Okay. So, do you do any, like, dwarven things where you make, like, clicking sounds or anything to try and echolocate?
At the moment, I'm just trying to just sense. I'm getting my bearings in the cave. So I was always taught get your bearings, so you know how to get back there. So know your depth and all that other stuff. And I'm also just listening for the sounds of the cave. So
Okay.
water
and
drip.
And you're
that sort
not
of thing.
making sounds of your own, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
You hear a very, very soft, very far away tapping. It's the kind of tapping that maybe somebody might be using to echolocate, but it's like, because it's rhythmic. It's happening at a regular interval. It's not stopping, and it's
It doesn't sound like water hitting.
No.
So, yeah.
But it doesn't sound like a dwarf, like, it's not a tongue click. There's something a little more sort of mechanical, and it's kind of muffled. and it's also kind of far away. But it's within range for you to have heard it. Directionally, while it is probably below you, the sort of air that's carrying it is carrying it from further down the tunnel.
Okay, I let everybody know there's some sort of clicking noise in that direction.
All right. And it's coming from below us, you say?
I say, yeah, it's hard to locate, really. I'll keep an ear on it, and then
Be careful of any like pits and stuff that we could fall into. Then.
Good idea, I say.
Imari, some of the vibrations are coming through the rocks under you. Some of them are coming through the air down the hall. So you can assume that somewhere down the hall there's something that lets you go deeper.
Okay, I'm just going to move cautiously with the rest of the group, and I'm going to monitor the grade.
Okay, are you proceeding down the hall? Are you going to the stairs that go up, or are you going to the room to the left?
I just convey information, and I'm following people and paying attention. That's my...
Cool.
I think room to the left makes
Okay.
most sense.
Yeah.
This room is a mess. But we're going to start with the basics. On the floor, there are shards of bone and pieces of body. There are some large, almost like boxes, but made of stone that are as like a full story tall. That are like cracked open and broken on the floor like they fell from a height. And then, as your eyes cast upward, you see that amongst the ceiling there are floating boxes made of solid stone, held aloft by what, as your eyes adjust, because you have your light spell, but as your eyes adjust to the room, you see there's faint blue glow of some kind of magic holding these boxes aloft.
Can I do a scholarship check to figure out what magic it might be?
You may.
All right. Do I have a trait? Dedicated study, yep.
Yeah, with dedicated study, definitely add in your potential.
Not rolling too hot right now, but
These magics are more advanced than anything you've studied. Yeah, you'd need to get some consultation from a professor to understand what's happening.
I can do an arcane sense, right?
Yeah.
How do I do that with the tangle?
You, I believe, add pips to your investigation roll.
Okay, so I get Q4.
Or scholarship roll.
And so that's scholarship and... Is that scholarship and perception, and then you add the gift?
Scholarship and perception would tell you if there's magic. Scholarship plus cunning would give you an understanding of how it works.
Got it. Okay, that was the miss I was doing.
Both have their uses. It's not like there's no information to gain from one or the other. Yeah.
So am I still able to walk on the walls?
So in order for you, I'm sorry, I forgot about that. In order for you to enter this, you do have to climb over the archway. At which point, you see that you are at risk of falling into the ceiling. You could, however, make a jump with a little athletics test. You could try and make a jump to the underside of one of the floating boxes. Wow, that was a good roll there, Troy. So, you don't learn how they work, but you do learn that they are an old magic that's you're not learning at school. From your readings, this looks like it might be something from like the ancient times, thousands of years ago, kind of stuff. You can see that the magic is a very complex thing. It's not just messing with gravity, it's messing with entropy and the passage of time. So you can figure out that these boxes are not just floating, but they're preserving stuff inside them.
I'll just stay in the hold it, looking over the edge, just like.
Considering that there's bodies and bones and shit on the ground, I'm not entirely sure I want to open these boxes.
Go ahead and make an investigation plus perception check. Tice, did you say you wanted to jump to one of the boxes?
Well, with 2 dice, I don't think I want to attempt to, because that will really hurt if I don't.
It will hurt a lot. Yeah.
We can always give you a potion if you want to be able to climb it rather than jump it, I guess.
If he takes his boots have the patches on. If he takes his boots off, he falls to the floor. And if he doesn't, then he destroys his boots, which may accomplish the same task. I don't know. There's a funny set of things with him taking the potion.
Hand you a knife, cut out holes in your boots. Okay, so you said perception plus investigation, right?
Yep. There's another thing you guys could do with rope that would be really hilarious, which is that you could hold him up like a balloon. And then you could just carry him to whatever box you wanted him to be on. Yeah.
That would be fairly fantastic. I did convey what I saw to everybody, but my thought would be that, yeah, it was just because the bones are preserved doesn't mean anything necessarily to the boxes.
Vivian, Nest notices... Nest is also studied in magics.
Yeah.
You notice that one of these devices has been tampered with by modern sensibilities. And that tampering is underneath a hole. There's a hole into one of the boxes that's still floating.
Okay.
The hole is on the underside. It would be incredibly difficult for anyone that is not having reversed gravity to get into.
Okay. So I point that out.
Debating if I can use my symbol to do a leap of faith.
Faith in the same one who reversed gravity on you?
Well, if I'm alive, then he can still pull pranks on me. But if I fall and I'm dead, then he can't pull any more pranks on me.
Just one.
It's a really good prank.
Question is, quality or quantity?
Is there something up there that like I could loop rope onto with like a throw and like a stone on the end of it?
It's completely dark inside, and you don't really have a good... Like, you're looking straight up. What you see when you look up is you see the ceiling of the inside of the box.
Alright.
But there's this perfectly round hole that leads up into it, and one of you with reversed gravity could be lowered or raised into the hole on a rope, easily.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking the assist on that hard, but I'm feeling the...
Wrap a rope around him and just throw him.
Well, not throw him, but just, like, hold him down, right? There's
Balloon
a few
him,
of us.
essentially. Yeah. Okay.
It's like a reverse balloon because we're having to pull him down instead of it pulling up from us.
So Kyleel is a human child. What are you guys?
Half elf.
Okay.
Human.
Okay, so no problem. Any two of you would be able to
Yeah.
to keep Kyleel from floating away. Yeah.
You want to do it, Kylie?
Sure.
All right. So you pass up a length of rope, Kyleel. You wrap it around it, get a good grip, and then the three of you together gently pull Kyleel down a little bit and walk him into the room. And are you going to then raise Kyleel up into the opening of the giant floating box?
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll like slowly raise them so like they can look inside as we raise them up as well. Like.
All right, Kyleel, you were slowly raised up. So right now the light spell is with Mari. Kyleel, what are you using to see up there?
I was just gonna say, how does the light spell work?
It's a little globe, like a little floating globe that just hangs out over top of at the end of my flute, which I'm currently holding like a torch. I can hand you the flute.
That would work.
Yeah.
All right, so you pull
Li-
Kyleel down.
Light up should travel further down than, like, yeah. It's more like a lamp.
It does get really dark in the room when the light gets into the box, but Kyleel, you're able to, from inside the box, look around and see a stash of wine. Just all bottles, barrels. This is a giant rectangular floating box that has a whole lot of wine in it.
Is there like any Ashta in there?
That is a great question, but I'm pretty sure there is. Not a lot of it. Mostly this is fermented grape, and Ashta is from fermented cactus. But yeah, you find some Ashta stashed in the back.
I guess I don't know what I'll find a couple of bottles of like something it sounds bold and sounds famous for Miss Maybell, and then I'm gonna grab the Ashta and put it in my backpack.
Okay. So you load up a backpack with Ashta and miscellaneous fancy sounding wines.
Then I'll tug the thing and I'll tell them that I'm ready.
Cool. So you guys are in a darkish kind of thing as the light moves around back and forth, which makes the beam kind of wobble as to what's being lit up down below. But eventually, Kyleel is ready to come back. You guys haul him down, and do you reveal what you've discovered?
I tell them that there was a room full of booze, and I got some souvenirs for Miss Mabel and me.
Nest will remind you, adventuring parties split loot evenly.
Okay, I guess I'll pull out like a couple of the bottles of wine, and I'm keeping two of them for Miss Mabel.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to you could go back up with each of their backpacks and fill their backpacks too.
Sure.
You all have backpacks full of fancy, expensive wine.
If I looking at I imagine there's some form of label on them, like they're not just label-less bottles.
Oh no, they're labeled, and what Kyleel learns up there is that they're organized. This is not just like a pirate stash where they're all just packed in. This is like a sommelier's restaurant collection of fine wines up there.
Yeah. What would I roll to like do a wine history check on this? This would be something I've studied, but it's something I could have picked up.
Seems like it would be trade.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be the most appropriate, I think. Potentially scholarship if you were a wine scholar, but I think trade, it makes more sense.
Trade. Look at anything else. I don't really have trade.
Propriety, arguably, if you like high society, like what's the right wine to serve with fish kind of thing.
I think I'll do this a trade.
Cool.
Do I?
Trade plus cunning.
Yeah. Is it stretching to continue to apply dedicated study to this?
It's a bit of a stretch, yeah.
Yeah. Because I imagine Nest
it's
would...
not the dedicated study as
Yeah.
a stretch. It's that applying a magical potential to this is a stretch.
All right.
If you had a like trade-based potential or a civics-based potential, something like that.
All right. I'll just roll my 2 dice and see what I get.
Okay. I mean, you recognize some of the names in the same way that like everyone knows that Rolex is an expensive watch. Some of the labels on here you know are from expensive companies that ship expensive stuff.
Can I tell, like, the rough age of it, I guess? Rough?
All of them do have dates printed on them, yes.
All right.
And honestly, they're a little more modern than you expected. These are not from, like, the ancient elven empires of millennia past. These are from, like, a few years ago.
So, whoever hacked this, basically is using this as their secret wine cellar.
It looks that way, yeah.
right.
Kyleel, on your last trip, you noticed that on one side of the box there is a door.
I guess I test it before I go.
It doesn't open. You turn the knob, pull on the handle, but it doesn't actually move. And you know from being outside the box that there is no door on the outside, because the box is floating in space. All sides of it are visible and out there. And the door is basically, it looks like it's something that was just kind of like glued to the wall, but doesn't seem to serve any function.
Okay.
Ooh. Remind me, how much did these kids learn about those doors? Because we didn't go to them. But
one kid went into the building and saw the demonstration. Yeah. I think it was Wampy, actually.
Was it Wampy? The Wampy has told everybody about what Wampy saw because Wampy doesn't shut up.
Was the demonstration? When did that happen?
When you first arrived, your first day in town.
Not sure it was Wampy then because
maybe it wasn't, but it was.
I think Araxi would have been the one I would have brought out on that adventure, but Araxi would have done that, so it's probably somebody else.
It was somebody that was trying to get a bag of holding.
No, at one point, Glove tried to get a bag of holding.
Maybe it was Glove. Okay.
Because, then he went back later on to go try to steal it.
That's right. And you found the guy dead because of what happened, yeah.
Would Glup have told us about these doors?
Probably not. He was probably going to use them in a scheme later on. but that scheme died. So the only other person that probably knows about them are Peyton, or whoever.
The
All right,
door
so-
isn't functioning anyway.
The worst thing we have anyway is a bunch of expensive wines to sell or drink, but probably sell.
So now what are we
You can't
doing?
you can't like take that door. Just like bring the door down.
No, it's attached to the wall.
I mean, as treasure hauls go, this is pretty good. If you guys just want to take this and go home, but there is that knocking. That just rhythmic.
Let's go check out the knocking. After you pull me back on the ceiling in the hallway.
I really appreciate that you said there is that knocking and just the way you said it, and then there were just glowing eyes in your hallway that walked by. Because he walked by right when you said it, and it was just like, just very well timed. There was more hallway,
There was more hallway. There was.
so we can walk our balloon back over to the arch.
Yeah. Can I make a roll to try and gauge how long our potions have?
Sure.
I guess I could have asked Pavan, but I don't think Nest actually would have asked Pavan.
You just kind of assume it's permanent.
Yeah. We just have crab legs now.
That is
Very-
Pavan's style, right?
If it was done right, Simic would have been impermanent.
Every time I make my big roll, I don't get anything. All right. 2 successes on that. I did kind scholarship.
Alright, so you at least know that it's not permanent. Your understanding of how magic works, you know that the power needed to make an effect like that be permanent is just like off the charts. It wouldn't be something that was served to you in a simple little potion. There would have been some great machine that was editing your genetic code or something insane, right?
Probably also not for free.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, you have no idea what Pavan considers to be currency, but yeah, it would have required far more in the way of resources than what Pavan put into it. So you know it's not permanent, but you do not know what that time limit is.
All right. While we go towards the knocking, Nest is going to just try and remain conscious of the how the legs feel, essentially. Try and get a sense of when they might start to be fading.
Yeah. Right now they feel pretty solid, but yeah.
Let's continue down the hallway. Maybe there's also rooms on the side.
Alrighty. Continuing down the hall. So you leave the room and continue down the hall. You do come to an intersection. The hall continues straight, but also there are hallways left and right. These hallways are smaller. They're not as grand as the hallway, and they do not have the clicking noise coming from them. The knocking, you are getting closer. You can hear that it is getting a little bit louder. but it's still muffled and is still a long way out. You do start to feel like, though, you must be getting closer because of the distance between the ground vibrations and the air vibrations. You think you're getting close to the point where you're going to start going down.
Do we want to turn down these hallways, or?
Exploring side passages or staying the course?
I think we should stay the course.
Alrighty. Continuing forward then, you come very quickly to what looks like it may have once, long ago, been some kind of elevator. What's left are rusted to pieces metal pulleys, no rope to be seen, and the dusty fragments of what must have once been the carriage that would have gone up and down. The reality of what you're dealing with, when you ignore all the debris, is a giant hole that goes straight down. Now, the good news is, on the ceiling, there is still the metal implements, rusted though they are, that you could attach a rope to.
If our potions are still in effect, we
Your
might be
potions
able
are still
to
in
climb down
effect, which
as
means
well.
you can walk straight down. And Tice Kyleel has decided that the joke doesn't work if you can't go down the hole, so you're able to walk down the wall now.
Okay. I can still go up to the wall up top and put a rope down just in case our potions wear off.
Yeah, you're at the top, so you don't even need to throw the rope. You can just tie it right there if you want.
Yeah.
All right, you tie a rope, and everyone proceeds in their various ways to go down the hole. And it goes down further than you went across. This one, you've definitely gone at least 100, maybe even 200 feet. It's hard to tell in the dark. You've only got the one kind of light source, and it doesn't shine the light all the way up or down. You know you brought 300 feet of rope, so when you get to the bottom, there's still some rope coiled. You know it was less than 300 feet by some amount. You could measure it out if you really wanted to, but there's adventuring to be done.
Yeah, we can just put a chalk line on it for later.
Cool. Alrighty. The tunnel now continues back the way you came, back towards the hole. And it no longer looks like an intentional tunnel. It's starting to look much more like a cave. The floor is less paved and more bumpy, until by the time you get to the end of it, it's just a crack in the stone upon which the city was made. And then you see light. As you emerge from the darkness, you can see daylight shining up above, not quite down to you, though. The sun is angled so that you can see the lit sides of the stone up above you, but the area you're in is still shrouded in shadow. You've got the slight glow of reflected sunlight off of stone, but it is moonlight compared to the sunlight, and it's not helping matters. But you have come to where, Mari, you are hearing the rhythmic knocking, and it seems to be coming from directly below you in the floor.
What's the floor? Is it just like cave floor, or is it
Cave
like
floor. Yeah, it looks natural, but at the same time suspiciously new. Actually, you can go ahead and make a scholarship check. This is a magical one, so you may apply your potential to it. in your study here?
Cunning or
Yes, please.
Just Mari or herself?
Anyone who has studied magic may make this roll. Mari, though, I think has a lower difficulty to solving this, being of Dwarven heritage. Then again, you are in a party full of smart people.
I have keen touch. Does that help at all?
Yes. It is a detail about the feel of the floor that you are studying. Cool. This floor was magically stone-shaped. It is not natural. It's meant to look natural, but somebody used magic to shape this floor into its current shape.
Can we tell how long ago that was done?
Ah, now that's an interesting kind of investigation, isn't it? After all, it is stone, which means you'd be examining, like, residual magic in the area?
Well, you're looking at like the magic and also like how much natural wear there has been as well. Because stone still will wear.
Very little natural wear. Like, none at all, actually. You see 0 natural wear.
Versus natural road does take quite a long time in stone, so I'd wager probably less than 100 years ago. You know,
For sure. Sometime between yesterday and 100 years ago. That's your kind of threshold.
Alright.
The knocking hasn't stopped.
Murray shrugs and knocks back.
Do you knock back in any particular pattern or just a single knock?
I'll knock back in the same pattern that the knocking is at.
They're not... Well, so their pattern is just a single knock spaced out by maybe like 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, I'll synchronize my knocks with their knocks. Or I'll do my knocks every halfway between their knocks.
The knocks stop for a moment, and then there's a double knock.
I double knock back.
And then there's a triple knock.
I triple knock back.
And then the knock just keeps going, like bang, 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 bang.
Mari says, I think someone's stuck down there.
Alright.
She says, that must be horrible, being stuck down there.
Yeah. Fuck, we don't...
Khalil will like finally reluctantly untie his shoes and like fall onto his feet.
Caleb, gravity's normal for you now, because the joke
okay.
stopped being funny. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I do have a chemical bag here. I could see something to help dissolve the ground.
Well, yes, but if whoever's doing that is underneath here...
Yeah, you dissolve
I
the ground.
dissolve them.
Well, you have to have something that like naturally dissolves rock and stuff, but doesn't dissolve like human stuff or like organic stuff.
Mari looks around for a harder rock and or some sort of metal tool. Like a pickaxe would be lovely at this point in time.
There's some rusted metal up on the top of the shaft, but you tied your rope to it. All the way back in the room, there were like bones, but they're not really going to be harder than rock. Of course, a great percentage of you have magic.
Yeah. I don't have improvisation.
Mari has mending, which is the opposite of what we want to do here, I think. So,
You dwarf, you're able to hear hollow points, right? Be able to help us get a hollow point here. It's easier to get through, maybe.
Mari says, I think it's hollow, like, she just kind of broadly sweeps her hand over the fake stone, like, all here.
I know what I'll do. I'm going to pull out a small chalk and I'm going to draw a door on where the knocking was.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't believe this is a door, but there's actually a door right here. All they needed to do was open it.
Mario, are you still listening?
Yeah, I'm that's my role right now is listening.
Make your check again.
My listening check?
Yes, please. You can't identify what it is, but there's something else making noise. Unfortunately, the continuous banging underneath you is drowning out whatever this other sound is that started up.
Mary says, "There's something else making noise, so maybe it seems urgent." She says,
Yeah.
Would I be able to use divine magic to make this into an actual door?
You can try, but you are fighting against somebody else's spell. So, this is probably something that will take you multiple turns to set up. You're going to need to make checks at each turn, and when you get to a total of... Let me just check real quick, because I still have the character sheet of the person who made this.
I'm literally 1 experience point shy of being able to use spell hacking here.
Oh, that would have been awesome. But I think this actually was a kinetic who made this, which would be kind of hard to hack. Not impossible, just difficult.
Would be nice if I if I had a druid here.
Very nice. Yeah, stone shaping is much easier for a druid. Not as easy as wood shaping, but stone remembers a time when it used to be liquid. Help it relive the joys and fluidity of its youth.
Are there any mining tools or anything, even like any kind of caving tools, hammers, picks, anything can be fashioned into one?
So it looks like this section of cavern was natural and was discovered by people that were building out something that didn't necessarily need it, so they didn't bother building out this way. You don't see any signs of any kind of mining attempts here. There's no mining picks. There's some equipment upstairs, but that equipment is primarily magical and booze related. Also, there's dead bodies up there. If any of that could have been of use to you, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a sword, and I probably heavily damage it to do something.
I could try and improvise something, but I don't have improvisation. This is a bit of a Hail Mary, but NASA's going to pull out their book and just take one really good look at that encrypted spell, just to see if they can figure out if it's in any way useful.
Okay. It's a second circle spell, right?
It's a second circle spell.
Okay.
So what would I be rolling here?
This would definitely be a cunning plus scholarship.
All right.
Trying to crack somebody else's encryption.
This is definitely, going to use decade study on this.
I'm just going to roll a quick luck check to see if it happens to be super useful to you.
All right.
Okay, you managed to get a sense of what the spell is. Not enough to cast it. Unfortunately, it is not the spell Dig, because that would have been crazy useful to you right now. It is a spell of Featherfall.
All right, that's actually might be useful. If I could keep working on that. Okay.
Yeah. And what was the DC? Or have you not found it yet?
I am looking. The characters were not named in a organized way, so this will take me just a second. It was Troy's character.
Oh,
Was
Duffel?
the druid. Was it Duftel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There they are.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay, Druidic 4, so you need to overcome 8 successes. So you can take each turn and make progress towards that.
All right.
Go ahead and make your first roll now. Let's just see if you can knock it out of the park.
I'm trying to figure out if I can, if I don't think I have any advantages right now to be able to add anything else besides my divine.
I don't think so, but if you take your time and go slow and carefully, you can use your divine to build up to it.
Would my brother Jonathan cost 2 more for this?
What's that?
My brother Jonathan costs a costume.
Yes.
I think it's P6. Yeah.
All right. First 2 successes are there. And there is a noise outside the cave in the giant hole, coming up from below. A scraping of stone on stone. Now you guys still have your climbing spells on, so you can just stand on the walls outside if you want to go out and take a look at what's coming.
How close are we to like that?
To the outside, you're
Yeah.
basically there. You're at a little crack in the wall. You can just step out and be out in the big open space with open sky above you, but the sun's angle means that the light's not getting all the way down to you.
I'll do that, I guess.
All right. So you emerge in that, and in this sort of soft light, this reflected light coming in from the section that is lit by the sun, you see rushing towards you is some kind of creature. It appears to be a bunch of bits of stone with some kind of squishy jelly wrapped through it, using these stone pieces to give itself shape and structure. And it looks like it's in the shape right now of some kind of serpent with tiny little claws, but the claws are not they're not like sharp claws. It's like this gooey gelatinous gel that's reaching out and gripping the rock to help it pretend to be a snake coiling up the side.
All right, I will relay that. How far away does it feel like?
It looks like it will be on you guys. You have one thing you can do before it arrives.
All right.
Does anyone know the grease spell?
I do not. I do have web. But I feel like it could just go through web. Be gelatinous.
I mean, it's worth a try.
I know I'm spending my turn doing.
The gelatinous stuff seems to need the stone to hold itself together. So there's these like lots of little stone rings that are kind of in the shape of a snake, and the gelatinous stuff is living inside it and like reaching out a little bit to grab stuff to try and make its totality pretend to be a snake. You might be able to web up the stone and catch it that way.
Yeah, that I think I'd do that.
Okay. Is this version of web one you need to roll for, or is this one that happens automatically?
Let's see which one I picked up. I have to double check on the class. I picked this up from the combat spell safety training.
Right. Does your character have
I have
memorization?
memorization.
Okay.
Sorry, if
So
that's
it's
what you're
not a
asking.
prepared spell. It's a spell you have in your book. So you have to open your book and try to cast it from your notes. So that is a roll.
All right.
Is anybody going to be helping with your roll?
Yeah, I would not have memorized.
What circle is that? That is the first circle spell.
Web?
I thought it was third, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so how does assisting with still meta magic help?
Yeah, so if you can cast the meta magic, that's an extra die that can be used to roll for succeeding in the spell. And yeah, you can cast the meta magic and then hand over the meta magic construct that you create, and anybody who is trying to improvise something can use that construct for parts to put together their improvised spell effect.
The ones I would have memorized here would be emergency rescue.
Do you have memorization?
I do have memorization,
Oh, cool.
but I don't have enough points to memorize all the spells I have.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So, I like the one I would have. I definitely would have emergency rescue. Probably would have shield, and then meta aether. I think that's it.
So there is one thing you might be able to do with emergency rescue that's kind of awesome.
Emergency rescue the snake.
Or emergency rescue the person out of the ground.
Oh, I thought I had to be able to touch them. Was the thing?
You do. But right now, Kylil's having a problem because Kylil's got to make a person-sized door. If Kylil only has to make a little hole, that's a much lower threshold there.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That'll work.
All right, so Kylil, if you're going to go along with this plan, your difficulty for the next roll is just a 2. If you can make a 2, you can make a little hole that's enough for Nest to get her hand down in there and cast Rescue and take all of you, actually, because it's an area effect spell. It'll take all of you guys, including whoever's trapped down there, to a safe place. It is undefined what that safe place is, but it will be a safe place.
Okay, I guess I'll do that.
Cool. You do need to make it through that next round, though. So,
Okay.
So yeah, I have to do something, and then
yeah. So you'll want to do something to try and stop this snake monster from getting to you guys and attacking.
8 dice. Come on, game. Or come on, bot. I don't think I cast web then.
You do not.
You could spend a.
Don't have it.
Well, you have.
You could spend a spirits point if you want to.
Well, there's one stable meta magic if you want to roll a dice, I guess, right? So I have one
I
floating.
included that.
Oh, you pulled that already?
Yeah. I don't have a character point to spend on this, unfortunately.
I was saying burning an experience point.
Okay, what would burn an experience point?
It re-rolls all unsuccessful dice.
Okay.
It's one of the sneaky food rules.
I will do that then.
All right.
Because.
And suddenly the dice love you. That's all they need. They just needed a little experience point sacrificed to them to give you luck.
All right.
Oh, thank you for the sacrifice.
All right, you cast web, and it gets stuck in the web. That's an awesome roll. I guess Mari, you still get to do something if you want to do something before the snake gets its turn. The snake is stuck in a web right now, so it's probably going to be spending its turn getting unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we've got huge air quotes around the word snake.
We're pretty sure it's hostile, or it is now.
Yeah, it seems like when the rhythm of the thumping changed, it came over looking for food. But if you want to be sure about that, you could make a animal handling check.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any of that. So,
Oh, man, I have a taming skill of 3.
Hi, this is my pet gelatinous snake.
yeah, I'm not sure really what help I can be in this, really. I mean, I can throw a rock at it, but it's gelatinous, right? So
It's a mix of like a gelatinous creature and a stone exoskeleton that the gelatinous creature lives inside of that's not really complete. So it's like holding it together with its own jellies.
You would probably be helping it if you threw a stone at it.
yeah, that's true.
Did you reverberate the stone to maybe cause it to shatter so that it's not together anymore? Because you have sonomancy.
Yeah, but that's not how that works. I don't have any spells that can do anything like that. I mean, I can try a sonomancy type thing. I could try an attack or something.
You have a flute. You could try to improvise something if you have that ability.
I don't have improvisation. I mean, I can just make a roll. It wouldn't be an amazing roll. I don't think I have advantage on any of this. Well, I've got problem solver and inquisitive, so I could maybe argue those.
This is a problem.
It is indeed a problem.
And it just needs enough of a delay for the spells to work. Now, we're assuming you don't even need to delay it if Tice rolls a perfect 2 successes.
Wait, I thought Tice already rolled that.
He rolled that trying to get a big door. He's switching to making a small door.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were. Yeah, when you said next turn, I thought we were starting the turn, so I'd roll, but then I will roll again for this actual turn.
It's not your turn yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I accidentally preemptively.
But when your turn comes around, you'll give up on the big door project and start the little door project.
Yeah.
So, but if Tice only gets 1 success, then that means it's going to take 2 turns, so that something else might be needed. Who knows? It is a scary thing. It's not behaving like a nice critter. It's not like the timid troll hiding in its nest that you guys encountered when you were, 3 weeks ago? This has been such a short period of time.
Okay, so I'll leverage problem solver
Okay.
to get advantage, and then I'll make a cunning plus performance to try and improvise something. I'll try and make it cinematic. I'm not gonna try and hurt it because that's gonna be complicated, but I'm gonna try and distract it. Maybe make a noise. I'm gonna try and make a rat noise down the hallway, some sort of like small scurrying animal noise.
And down the hallway would be going past you guys, because it's coming up the giant hole.
Somewhere away from us, where it's gonna smell easier prey.
Okay.
So we have a light and we're big and stuff, so maybe it's interested in easier prey.
Okay, so somewhere further down the hole.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, you successfully created distracting noise. That's awesome. Alrighty, for its turn, it starts sort of spitting at and ripping at the web. It needs to actually roll for this. It shreds the web apart, but the web did hold it for a round. It has heard the distracting noise, so it is distracted at the moment. But it took its entire turn getting free from the web, so it won't get a chance to decide what to do next until the end of this round. So let's find out if Tice completes the doorway.
Come on.
2 successes. A small hole opens up. In the light, you can see there is indeed a person down there. You can reach your hand down there, touch them, and all of you will be teleported somewhere safe.
Yeah. That's basically goes, take my hand. We can get you out of here. Just like shots down the hole.
A very strong grip grabs your hand.
Yeah. Oh, like wraps an arm around everybody else, essentially.
Because you have it memorized, you don't need to roll for it.
Yeah, I'm just going to cast it.
All right. So I need to think for a second about where the location of lowest entropy is right now. And I think it's in the preservation cases. So I think you guys appear in the wine case. That would be the place of lowest entropy at the moment. So yeah, all of you guys, you appear in what appears to be a wine cellar with a hole in the floor. Kyle, you recognize this. You've been here minutes ago. Well, I guess maybe an hour ago. Yeah, you're all standing here with a incredibly buff adult woman. It's Delia, and she is a mix of angry and grateful. But she's looking around at you, and she's not sure what to do because you guys have, like, 3 of you have crab legs.
Kyle will just grab a bottle off the wall and hand it to her.
She bites the cork off the bottle, drinks, and says, "Okay, I feel a little bit better. What the hell is going on?"
Mari says, "We're children wandering on a great adventure through a cave. Why are you stuck in a rock? That's probably a more interesting story."
All right. Well, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but I'm going to tell you that there's a bastard that put me there, and I am going to kill them.
Sounds like a not nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, ordinarily, I think it's bad to kill people for spite, but I think if there's ever a justification, being encased in a rock is that.
If you ever meet this person, what's that person? Do you know their name?
She kind of squints her eyes at you and goes, I'd rather you not see me coming. She looks down the hole, though, and goes, you kids are okay to get out? You guys are safe here? She did not see the snake. She doesn't know anything about it.
Well, it's hard to explain. There's a snake made of stone, but also of, like, gelatin?
Ah,
And it was climbing up the wall. That's why we're here.
I'll bet it killed a few of those bastards before they got out.
Maybe
the
the snake
bodies are
already
around here.
did your vengeance.
Maybe. I gotta go check this place out. She just drops down the hole. Just casual as can be. Just like steps into it. Whew, and you see she just lands on her feet. Not a problem.
Could you catch us before you leave?
She comes over and goes, oh, kids. Yeah, fine. Just one at a time, you guys drop down. She catches you, puts you down. So, all right, let me go take a look at these bodies.
Okay. Well, there's an exit this way, and we'll tell them exactly where the exit is.
She says, oh, I know. I know this place well.
You sure you don't need any help? We can get a doctor or something for you.
She shrugs, flexes, and says, nah, Coin took care of it.
Coin?
So you,
Well-
you kids don't know about the coins? How widely known would the coins be?
Not very. Not outside of Mathian circle.
So shrugs and says, it doesn't matter. I did a favor for the king a long time ago. That's all that's important.
Well, if you ever need a nice warm hot meal, you can always go over to whatever place that we called it is.
Little Oak Brine.
Little Oak Brine.
Says, no offense, kids. I'm probably not going to take you up on that offer. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful you got me out, but I'm a little focused right now.
Whenever you accomplish your mission, yeah, offer's open.
She stops and she thinks about it. She's like, you do deserve something. She scribbles a little thing on a note. It's basically like these kids did something nice to me. It's addressed to just somebody, just the letter V. She hands it, is like, if you ever meet the king, show him that.
Okay. Well,
I'm glad to help.
Yeah.
Well,
one of
praise
you
him.
can add like letter of introduction to the king. It's not a fancy letter. It's very, very crude and improvised. But yeah, and she actually just goes up the stairs that you guys saw on your way in.
okay. I think it's time to go home. I think we have enough time.
All right. Are you guys going to try and go up the rope that you left behind, or are you going to go up
Do
the
we
stairs?
still have crab legs?
You do, but you are starting to feel like they're not gripping the floor as tightly as they were.
And how's my boots?
Your boots seem to be fine.
Are your boots gone?
No, they worked. They were still working.
The joke wore off. She did say she knows this place, so if she's going away, that might be the way out. But also, we have a rope, so I'm.
And we do still have a potion. So one person can take the potion. Kyleel can take their boots. And then 2 people take ropes.
Yeah, let's do that. Also, yeah, because since I can walk on the wall, I can sort of like help people up with the rope.
Cool. All right. So you guys are going up the rope on the outside?
Yeah.
All right. It's bright daylight out here now. The sun is shining like right onto you. You've got lots of vision. You can see clearly. Kyleel, are you holding on to the rope as you go up, or are you just walking?
I'm gonna like hold on to the rope and like, but because I'm like trying to make sure the other people that are climbing up are getting help.
Okay. Your god finds it absolutely hilarious to wait till you're one step away from the top before turning off the spell. So make a very quick athletics or acrobatics check to hold on to that rope. Only need 1 success, but he thought it was hilarious to just tease you one step away. Oh my goodness. All right. Kyle is now in free fall. Does anyone want to do anything to rescue him?
Nest still has claw legs, I guess, imagine, because I imagine Nest would be the one most comfortable drinking Popin's potion again.
Okay.
Can I make an attempt to catch and like arrest Kyleel off the?
You can make an attempt to and you can make an athletics check to grab Kyleel. Or do you have spell hacking? No, you were 1 point away from it, weren't you?
I was 1 point away from it. Now I'm 2 points away, but I'll get an idea of this anyway. Can I? This is going to be weird. Can I add my future sight because of protective of others to anticipate where he's falling?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
That was a good joke.
All right, you catch him. I will need you to take a point of tax on something as you strain a muscle with the sudden weight of an entire person.
Makes sense with health. That's, yeah.
Yeah, you can apply it to wherever. Yeah, health is fine. And yeah, you guys scramble back up onto the top. Good job. It turns out, as you go into Little Oak Brine and go up to Grammy, that the wine you guys brought back in is really good stuff. And because you managed to avoid having the fight with the snake, none of it got broken, which was one of the things that could have happened down there.
And the Ashta, it's good quality too.
Are you going to keep the Ashta for yourself, or are you going to sell it all to Grammy?
I'm going to keep the Ashta to myself.
Okay, so you get 5 coins, and everybody else gets 10 coins. But you now have a supply of Ashta for yourself. It's the good stuff. It's quality, ranges from quality 6 to quality 8, so we'll just average it out as a quality 7 stash.
How many coins do we get?
10.
That's great, because Nest was broke.
It would have been a lot less if you'd fought the snake and the snake had like banged you around, because you'd be breaking the bottles in your backpacks with every hit. But yeah, you brought the perfect memorized spell to get out of there. And so now the snake is chasing imaginary illusionary rats somewhere in the bottom of the pit.
And we have all made a grand mistake. but none of us know it.
Yeah,
You just sentence one of my characters to death potential. That's fine.
But that sounds like that character's problem.
It very much does. That's why he buried her in the first place.
Duftil is definitely on the moon now, right?
I would assume so.
And never going to leave again.
Even on the moon, you hear her rage.
Well, Duftil was a Somnite, right?
Yes. The
So
Druid of Somnus, yeah.
Most of the Somnites have left the moon because Somnus is now embedded in the desert.
Yeah, will they have gone to the site?
Some of them, and some of them would have gone elsewhere to cause more explosions, with Somnus itself being the prime example of what should happen to all of civilization. How Duftil falls in that whole philosophy is up to Duftil, but yeah. The Somnites, the Moonfall radicalized the Somnites in a way that is not necessarily going to be good for anyone else.
Yeah, I imagine they knew when it fell, right? Like, regardless of where they were.
Yeah. I mean, a large number of them were on Anui, watching it leave orbit and head into the planet through the giant, the courtyard windows that Anui has in that central, like, socializing space.
I don't remember what we stole Duftil on to join the heist crew. Because I remember Duftil, like, didn't want money, which was an issue.
Duftil was the one that we had to go to, I think that noble house or something to get him or something.
No. That was well, there was two that we had to go to a noble house for.
I think Duftil you met on the moon. And,
Yeah, we met on the moon and we had like a nightmare trying to convince Duftil why they should join the heist. I think we might have just sold them all. They get to blow things up. I think that was what we did.
I have a character trend. Bunch of people convinced Kite to go somewhere, and look how that turned out. Bunch of people convinced Duff to go somewhere, and look how that turned out.
If you want to find out definitively, the episodes are uploaded on YouTube. Well, I have 0 viewers. Like, actual 0. But it is a good archive.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, you guys made your sale to Grammy. Grammy is quite pleased to have, like, her stock now, like, looks super fancy. She's got some top shelf stuff actually on the top shelf.
Oh wait, I'm gonna have less gold because I'm gonna probably have 3 coins because I brought a couple of bottles back for what's her name? I always come and forget our orphan mom's name.
Miss Mabel?
Miss Maybell, because like for the special nights.
Oh. You're prepping for a future investigation. Gotcha. Alrighty. Good plan. That was nice. Nice little light adventure. I didn't know which of the various holes you guys were going to explore. I had other stuff ready too, but that was a good one. Did you guys pick that because you knew that stuff was down there, or was that like meta?
I figured that it was more likely for us to find something good by climbing down in the hole because that required effort to do, whereas the other ones were probably well explored already.
I think it's neat that it's not just neat that there's an intersection, but that we get to kind of look at the scale of things. Because in that heist adventure, the wine was like a sideshow. Like, no one actually cared about the wine. right? There were like 2 whole carts, 2 whole rooms full of wine. Nobody gave a shit about it because that was the room that hid the hole that led into the cave. That's all anyone cared about for that entire room. Meanwhile, once that adventure and all of its stakes and like high roller stuff has moved out of the way, what's actually in that wine room is incredibly valuable. It's not like world-ending valuable the way that some of the stuff was that you guys actually got, but it was it was good stuff, and it's been sitting in an anti-entropy field, just staying fresh.
Yeah, I guess we could get someone to go down there at some point and get more wine.
You know where it is now. So as long as nobody else discovers it, if others explore and discover that, because there were people watching you kids go down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might be something that could be done.
I mean, some of these people are watching as almost a kid almost fell to their death.
What might be more effective is for a character like Reggie to just hire a crew to go down there and retrieve the entire stash, instead of like making individual risky trips.
Yeah.
Also, to possibly figure out how to hack into those other boxes.
Who knows what other treasures or monsters await?
It took me a while. It wasn't until you mentioned the doors that I realized that was the mining cooperative. And that's, yeah.
And I heard that
there was probably 4 or 5 adventures that were just about those doors. So those doors are burned into my memory.
They were part of what made that whole like heist kind of interesting. Was there was this whole backstage area in that cave, and like you guys got access to it, the enemy had access to it, but for a very long time the enemy didn't know you guys had access to it, and then everything just like suddenly exploded with Delia. That was like a very sudden turning point in that adventure, was facing off with her.
Yeah, I remember fire blasting her, like trying to get her into the thing, but she was likely to cling onto the wall.
But for a lot of characters, for a lot of characters as a GM, right? Like I've super simplified them. They have like their health and composure and some basic stuff. Is like on social rolls they're about this good, on combat rolls they're about that good. It's sort of like reduced to fit into a small space on my notes, so I don't have an entire character sheet. But for Delia, I knew that was going to be a serious fight, so I made an entire character sheet for her. I built it from the ground up, made sure that she was obeying the rules, had the kinds of talents and stuff that she would have. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember at the end of that fight was basically a wet noodle trying to finish Delia off. Because Delia kept, like, looking back at us. Just, like, every bit we did to her, she could put into somewhere.
Yeah, because she taxed out, like, all her stuff here. She taxed out her armor, she taxed out her melee, she taxed out her unarmed, she taxed out her acrobatics, she taxed out her athletics. She taxed out her health, her stamina, her composure. Actually, no, she only put 1 tax into her composure from something. But, yeah. Her labor. She had a 5 in labor, and that got taxed out.
I think Avatala, like, taunted her and put that tax into composure. Sounds like something Avatala would do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were melting the floor, essentially, and turning it into a fucking landslide, and you're like, I bet you can't get us.
Yeah.
You distracted her, I think, at some point, is what it was.
That was when Avatala developed basically greater invisibility. That fight. I was spending character
Yeah.
points on that.
Oh man, I still remember that explosion. The one that caused all those crates and stuff to open because of the zombie that was full of.
Yeah, you guys strapped satchel charges to zombies and sent them in. That's why there's like bones scattered all over the room in that spot.
There was also the way that we betrayed the 2 necromancers and did the same trick.
And one of them, I think, got swallowed into Tice's watch, and the other one was smart enough to stay clear of it. Something like that. Yeah, that was a wild adventure, and it's the kids have wandered into the aftermath and gotten some good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here, and we'll pick up again next week. Ed, you said you will not be around, but hopefully Jack and Kristen will be back, and we can continue with any of the many quests that are here.
Indeed.
We are starting to wind down, though.
Yeah. Exploring the Undercity is probably still on the table if we wanted to go a different path.
A little bit, yeah. If
we
you
did all
want
the fun.
I was trying to kind of limit things just to move us towards the conclusion at some point. But if you really, really, really want to explore the other paths, I do have content that I whipped up.
Well, I think part of it is that a lot of us are getting our characters into combat shape now, and there hasn't been a lot of combat. Like, I kind of looked at that snake and looked at the 4 of us. It was like, we probably can't handle it, at least not without Delia.
Yeah, and I do think it's totally fine that they're not here. This is built for drop in, drop out. But if Bax had been in the party, you guys would have been in a much more confident situation. Maybe not like ready to fight it to death, but certainly able to fend it off long enough to cast the full spell and get Dahlia out, and then Dahlia could join the fight, and then that snake would be in a really bad situation. So yeah, like there's. You guys are starting to get together your capabilities, which is good.
Also, we have 3 characters at the end of the day, so like, who's willing to lose one?
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier. Like, who are you bringing out tomorrow? It's like, well, I only have 2 choices.
So that would probably be a pretty damn sad day at the orphanage.
They'll learn experience faster, right?
Yeah, also that.
Araxi was not at school that day, and Araxi was doing something else.
Yeah, if you get a chance to just fill in like what you guys were doing in school or whatever. Oh yeah, I was gonna stop the recording like a minute ago. All right. So, I mean,